And everybody, it's Tim Reazor with Revere Asset Management, 3:45 here on a Wednesday night. So very quickly, stock nerds, market lovers, before you and I begin, I want to talk about trading plan for 2022. I'm going to modify the 2021 trading plan just slightly. I'll go into it a little bit tonight, and then I'll probably cover it in a subsequent video as we get closer towards the end of the year. I've got some watch list ideas I want to share with you, so we'll just put this as watch list ideas, WLI. I want to go over that, and then I want to go over let's see, you know what, I'll save that. We'll just do it right now. So Danny, the fellas did a podcast, so I wasn't in last week for the podcast, but the podcast is pretty funny. Let me see here. Well, Black Swan event, that title does not lend itself to being pretty funny. Let me see if there it is. Yeah, like that is what you have waiting for you. I haven't listened to it yet, folks. But that is, I think he refers to himself as Texas Claus. So hopefully you enjoy all of that. It's in the podcast tab or wherever you get your podcast. You can find just search for your asset and then Your Money Radio. And then listen, stock owners, market lovers. Any questions, concerns, comments, take umbrage with anything that I'm going to say. All you have to do is email me, tim@revereasset.com. Right here, or if you want to talk to the fellows that make decisions about the portfolios, the buys, the sells, the watch list ideas, Don, Alex, Hunter at Revere Asset. We're going to talk to America's fiduciary, the owner of the firm, the man who started it all, Dan Stewart. Listen, as you get closer to the end of the year, like I know a lot of you are doing your RMDs and other things, but there's still time to do a little bit of planning. These new laws are going to affect you greatly. And if you just have a couple quick questions, a client or not, just call us. We do all the life planning for free. We don't sell any insurance, so life insurance, annuity type products. We don't do any of that. So if you just need some second opinion, honest, unbiased guidance or thoughts, 855-732-5932. We're working all this week, just like always, and of course all next week. So we don't really, I mean, this is kind of busy season. It might seem like it's slowed down for a lot of folks, but as you come to the end of the year, a lot of people have a lot of questions about rule changes for the upcoming year, and we're always around to answer them. So 855-732-5932. Listen, I'm going to cover some things I talked about with IPO Club and I don't know why that's not, there we go, the IPO Club, which is just a community of stock nerds and market lovers like yourselves that discuss the content we put out. A bunch of friends of the firm, and they are awesome folks. TJ Reazor on Twitter is how you can email me, say, hey, Tim, I'd like to get introduced to this group of folks. They meet on Zoom, or you can just get a hold of me on Twitter. My DMs are always open if you don't prefer email. I know a lot of people are moving off of email and just they either want to be texted or they want like direct messaging, either it's Instagram or Twitter. I choose Twitter. And then if you're like, Tim, you talk about this trading plan, I'm just going to modify this trading plan slightly. The one I did at the end of last year for 2021, I'm just going to modify it slightly. In the description of this, the link to this video is in, whether you're on YouTube, it's in the description on YouTube, it's in the description. Whether you got this on email or you just went straight to the website, you can find it all right there. And the stock owners, market lovers, these videos are for what? Your edification purposes only. They're never ever to be misconstrued as advice. I can't say this enough. If you think these videos are advice, you are foolish, my friend. These videos are for edification. It's a big difference. And so anything we discuss here is to make you better in your study and preparation for your very own execution in the markets. I don't know I don't know how to say that any more clearly than what I just did, but if you have a different way, you just let me know, tim@revereasset.com. So listen, real quick, let's discuss. So I sent this text message yesterday. And so markets were down here. These are the S&Ps. Markets were down here right around the 50-day. You get this big whoosh on Monday. And then here's Tuesday, okay? And I said if you blast through the 50% retrace level and then 4650-ish is your next target. We clearly blew through that. That's some tough sledding though. However, the fib level and 50-day provided resistance. Man, blew through that like butter. But my point in showing you this is what fibs can do for you. They're like cattle fences, man. They just herd. You're just herding cattle here. And so, okay, so we clear the 50. Where could be the next target for S&Ps? The 618. Clear the 618. Where could be the next target for the S&Ps? 786. And so you did all this though in like, well, this is the overnight session in one day. And so now you're at the 786. So does that mean, Tim, does that mean that we're going up to the 1272? Listen, maybe, but here's the thing. I want to look over here to the left-hand side of the chart and see resistance, 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 down, resistance, spike up, resistance down. So what gives me the thought that we're going to make this move potentially to at least 47, 43, which by the way is not a stretch the way markets are moving here. Could it happen tomorrow? Maybe tomorrow's the last day of the week. Look, I don't know, right? And so to say that the move's over here, well, I don't know that. It's a market, anything can happen. But the next fence is all the way up here at 48.11. So there's a big gulf here. So I would say, if you clear this 786 with some kaputs, then 47.43. But look, you're barely, like, look at the down volume. So let's just look at the last 5 or 10 days, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at the, now that line right here, let me just move this up so you can see a little more clearly. This line right here is the 50-day simple moving average for volume, okay? So anything at or above that line is institutional buying, okay? INST is institutional buying. So how many institutional buying days have we had in the last 10 days? Well, let's see, 1, 2. How many institutional selling days have we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Interesting, right? And so read into it what you want. The selling is clearly heavier than the buying. Well, Tim, that's just that this time of year. Well, it works both ways, right? The selling is just that. It can't be that it's a light volume week and it's a light towards the end of the month, on the buying days, and on the selling days, well, but of course, the same people, same market participants. Here's the thing. It takes a lot more energy to buy than it does to sell. So the market's an auction, right? And so when you're participating in the auction, if the auctioneer starts out at $100 and nobody raises their hands, he's going to go lower, right? He's going to go 99. Nobody raises their hand at 99. He's going to go 98 and so on until somebody somewhere in the back row raises their hand at 90. But to get the price moving, it takes people to raise their hands and say, I'll pay you that. And that takes energy. And the stocks that are in the NASDAQ 100 have so many shares. I mean, it takes a ton of energy to move those stocks higher. And so just want you to think of the market as just that, a market or a price auction. Let's look at the NQs here very quickly. Here's the 50%. Okay, so we cleared that today just by a little bit, but look at the volume, right? I'll let you do your own volume analysis down here, and then look at the resistance level we're at. So on the two indices that seem to matter the most, right, the NASDAQ and the S&Ps, you're at a resistance level on one, and you could come up to 16, we're going to call that 16,300. You're at 16,200 right now. Do you do it? Maybe. Tomorrow's the last day of the trading week. I don't know what to tell you there. Okay, just keep that all in mind as you're dreaming of stocks tonight in your sleep. You're dreaming of Santa and stocks, right? Both things start with letter S. So how do you get out of this kind of nonsense, though? But there's a way to get out of this nonsense. Well, a couple things. So why am I not super interested right now in the indices? And it doesn't mean they can't go higher. It's just like, well, what's the setup? You could buy the indices, like you're starting to go 5, 5, 8, 21, 34, 50. What am I describing? A moving average stack, right? When you get 5, 8, 21, 34, 50 sequentially, easy for me to say, stacked, price seems to want to move up. Now, I know it's hit resistance here, but maybe that's telling you something. When you get a moving average stack in a 5-8 cross, it is like magic. It's golden time. And you're going to say, well, Tim, aren't you the same person literally 1 week ago that said the Santa Claus? Matter of fact, let's bring it up. Like, let's bring up old stuff. So I went here. Let me show you this. So, and I want to show you how you get out of this nonsense. So the stage is set. This is me, literally 1 week ago. The stage is set for Santa's white beard bullish rally. Can't get any more clear than that, right? We're going higher. And then what did we do? That's this day. What did we do? We reach up and then we go down. So what's the answer to that? I mean, how could you get it so wrong, Tim? And I'm going to tell you, look, that you're so deep in the weeds with a daily chart. And I know a lot of you, I know some of you out there are trading 30-minute, hourly. You're trading really small time frame charts. If I could do one thing for you, if you're frustrated by market action, if you feel like you're missing every move, if I could do one thing for you is to switch to weeklies. Just try it, right? All you can do is try it. You can do 2 tracks. Like if you are like, that's so slow, like let's say you work in blocks of 10, okay? So Daily trades will be over here, and you'll do 10 trades, and then weekly trades over here, and you'll do 10 trades. And then what you want to do is you want to like tally up the results, like how many, you'll get the dailies quicker, I would assume, whatever your setup is, right? And then you just say, okay, did I make plus whatever? Maybe I made a minus whatever. Maybe I made a plus whatever, and just see how you did on those 10 block of 10 trades. And then when you get the weekly tally, do that, and then compare and contrast and see which was more relaxed, which one let you think a little clearly. It gave you time to play out. Listen, I know I'm leading down the path of weekly, but I believe it's weekly because I've been doing it. And I'm telling you, when you get really busy, you don't have to trade, but you could just rely on the weeklies. And look at this S&P chart. Weekly down here, test, right? Test and hold, test and hold, test and hold. You're at 44, what are you at? 43, 49 at these levels here. That's 300 points lower. Like you're still in the game here. Like you're not even worried. Like, okay, we came down to 21 and held, came down to the 21 and held, nothing to do here, Bob. And so you just keep on living your life. And I say this to the NQs. So NQs. So there's a couple things. So look at this, NQs. Test and hold, test and hold, test and hold. Nothing, and this is at 14,777, right? You can see it. It's on the right-hand side of my chart. You see the number moving. There you go. You see 1475. So you're at 1477. Look, you're at 179, and you're still in the game, right? And so weeklies, but it takes patience. And some people I know. Tim, how do you know everything you're referencing? Well, I used to talk to like 40,000 people a year, more, doing this. And then now I talk to you virtually, and you email me. And so I know what you're doing because you tell me. And I have conversations with stock nerds and market lovers all the time. And it's one of the greatest things about this job. And so, look, you don't feel like you're doing something if you're not doing something. But by honest to God, just sitting is actually doing something. And so sitting in the trade, letting it matriculate, and I find it's easier to sit in the trade, less stressful when you let it matriculate in the weekly. So what's my modification for my trading plan? We'll go over some watch list ideas. So the modification for said trading plan, and I believe I'm still shaping it up, and I reserve the right to change it up until the very moment I start executing it in 2022, is this. I want to do moving average, so we're going to call it moving average stack or mass. Okay, I'm going to only work moving average stack. Okay, and that moving average stack has to exist on a weekly or daily, and there can be conflict. There can be conflict, meaning the daily is out of sorts, but the weekly is intact. But I have a sense from and I'm going to track this a little bit closer in 2022, that when you have moving average stack alignment in both the weekly and the daily and consolidation, you're going to have gorgeous results. But yeah, let's get weekly at least weekly moving average stack alliance. And then I want this. I want a 5-8 cross. I want a white bar, right? And so when I get a white bar, and this is the NQs, when I get a white bar, and I've got a 5, an 8, a 21, a 34, a 50, stack sequentially, yeah, that's my trigger. And then it's about risk control, and let's see what it does and where it goes from here. Because now remember, I told you, like, let's get S&Ps back up here. Last week, Santa Claus is coming to town. You better sleep tight and close your eyes and do all the things a kid's supposed to do with Santa Claus. Okay, I told you that last week, right? And it was based off of this. Like, okay, look, we had a pretty big last week, pretty big volume day, white bar, momentum, and it literally just lasted one day. But look, we're just kind of like back in the zone of where we were. And the news is like, we're selling off. It's Clay. Christmas is canceled. And it's not. It's just a weekly chart, man, working itself out. And so could it turn into something bigger? Sure. It's a market. Anything can happen. Is it right now? No. And so how do you get out of the morass? You work the weeklies, man. I can't stress it enough. I mean, just look at this is like no stress 3 weeks tight bill, which is one of my favorite chart patterns, quickly becoming a flat base, which is a continuation pattern, which is beautiful because if the story of the market is still intact, what happens is these tend to resolve themselves in the direction from which they came. They don't have to, but kind of my favorite pattern. So let's talk about a few watch lists. Is that clear? If it's not clear, look, Tim at revereasset.com. Find me at TJ Reazor on Twitter. More than happy to have you find me there. And then all the fellows are available too. So listen, let's look at some watch list ideas. So I'm going to work the weeklies with you here. So let's look at Tesla. So Elon says, hey, literally says, done selling. Okay, I think that's like something, I don't know if that's the quote, but he says I'm done selling, which is like all clear to I'm done selling, guys, so you can come in here and buy. And so really wasn't quite as clear as that, but 750, 7.5% up today. Touched 21 and hold. Yeah, yeah. So what is Tesla really doing? It's just consolidating, okay? Consolidating these gains. When's the last time you got 21'sville? Ooh, down here, a little white bar action at 650. So I don't have a white bar, but I got a moving average stack. So that's super interesting to me. How about Chipotle? Chipotle. Now look, I don't have moving average stack. Interesting. 21.8. So I need a little more construction here, but it's on my radar. When's the last time you got a bounce off the 50 in Chipotle? Down here at 1330, or a lot of points ago. And so absolutely positively on my radar. Now let's check that out on the daily. What is over the daily? Probably a hot mess. Yeah, like that's nothing. But somebody's got a white bar. But look, what don't I have? Moving average stack. So look, I'm not saying that you can't buy this and it won't go higher. I'm saying that I'm going to try to be really selective. If I came out of 2022 saying I made like 10 trades and they were all like big winners, I went elephant hunting. I don't really care. Like I don't care if I make 10 trades to get to my goals. I don't care if I have to make 100 trades to get to my goals. I just want to get to my goals. And so however I do it doesn't really, I enjoy the process of learning, studying, opening my mind up to new things. So I really don't care too much how I get there because I really enjoy the work. So, but some people, like, they have to get there their way. And I think that is absolutely the wrong way to approach markets because the markets don't care about you or I. And that's the whole thing. And so look, we'll see if we get there to moving average stack, but on my radar, back to the weekly chart there with Chipotle, how about gold? There's gold in them there hills. Look at that. White bar, we're progressing on the weekly here, just consolidating. Man, gold is something that I want to go to a monthly here. Yeah. What am I? Look at that chart pattern. So, if it's a monthly, like how long are you gonna wait for that thing to play out? I'm patient. I'm just waiting to see if I can see something develop here on the week. This is one big long consolidation here in gold. And then let's look at Ethereum because I was talking with fellas on the call today, something about the cryptos, ETH. Had some time to do some reading. That's not the right ticker, ETH. There we go. And so weekly chart, ETH, look, you don't get 21 too often. And when you come through the 21, well, it could be really super positive. 2450, eventually you test 21, but hold, your move is all the way back up to almost, 5,000 there. What's interesting about this, and I don't know how the cryptos are going to play out, so I don't know what to do here because there's no wash sale rule with cryptos this year. It's the last year. So if somebody say, I don't know so much with ETH, I could see it with Bitcoin though. So it'll be curious to see this all play out. Like, so if you bought Bitcoin, anyone who bought Bitcoin at like just above current price, right? 49.125. Let's say it's lower than whatever, like you bought it at 69, you bought it here and it's lower. You could sell it at 11.59 on December 31st for a loss, book the loss, help your tax status out, and then buy it right back at like what, 12.01 on January 1st. If I read that right. I read it a couple of different places on the internet. I'm like, well, that is interesting and sounds very plausible. And so I thought I would share it with you. That is not my original thought. I just read it in a couple different places. You see it once, like, oh, that's interesting. You see it like 2 times, 3 times, like, well, I wonder if that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so we'll see. So why am I bringing this to attention? Because I don't know if setups are good here. Like if a bunch of people are going to sell, in the middle of New Year's Eve night before the strike of midnight, what does it do to price? And I don't even know if that's going to happen, but I think I'm going to be watching as an interested observer. But very interesting because, as you know, wash sale rules exist in stock, so you just don't harvest the loss to help your tax test and then buy it right back the next trading day. You got to wait 30 days. This is the last year that doesn't exist in crypto. So hopefully, that maybe illuminated some things to watch for in the coming trading days. So hopefully that all helps. So listen, stock owners, market lovers, you know I love you. I don't think I'm going to have an opportunity to talk to you before Christmas. I wish you the safest, happiest, healthiest Christmas possible. And then I'll be back with you next Wednesday. We'll have a podcast next week, and we'll get you all set for 2022. Hunter has your video tomorrow, or Don, maybe Don has the video tomorrow since the last trading day before Christmas. So with that, hope you have a great night, and I will see you at the next update.